Summer of 2017, Jordan Carter wasn't just rising. He felt inevitable, like the internet had already cast him as the lead and was just waiting for him to show up to his own movie. Magnolia was everything that summer. Radio, group chats, 1,000 reaction clips of people losing it over a flute loop, and a hook that's maybe 9 words long. Every ad-lib became a meme. Every leaked snippet got picked apart like it was scripture. That time was literally crazy, man. And look, before we get into anything else, give the man his credit because he earned every bit of it. Carti doesn't really rap on the beat, he becomes part of it. Another piece of percussion that happens to occasionally say a word. That's not a gimmick, that's a sound nobody else was making in 2017. And the rest of the genre spent next few years trying to catch up to a guy who'd already moved on to the next thing. For a minute, it really felt like the party would never end. And here's the version of story the internet likes to tell itself that the mistake just happened, some cosmic accident, right guy, right year, right vibe. That's not what happened. Look at the actual footage from this period. Phone shots, studio clip, songs that existed for one single night on a burner Instagram account before getting deleted, books that leaked, half finished, and then disappeared like they were never real. That's not an accident, that's a strategy. Even if nobody on the team would have called it out loud, you give people just enough to feel like they found something they weren't supposed to find. And that feeling, that's basically the whole drug. Nobody gets obsessed with something they fully understand. People get obsessed with 30% they can't quite reach. So he handed them 70% of the picture, lit a match under the rest of it, and walked away. And the internet did exactly what it does with an unfinished puzzle. It couldn't leave it alone. By 2019, the whole thing had flipped on him. Somewhere north of 100 unreleased songs, real studio files, not just snippets, were loose on forums, getting passed around like a contraband. At one show that year, he previewed a track called New Neon, and the crowd started rapping the leaked lyrics back at him. Before he'd even officially drop it, he stopped mid song and basically asked the crowd, "How do you already know this?" For most of the artists, that's the kind of moment that ends a run. When he finally did respond, it was with Me, the baby voice direction he'd been sitting on, the one nobody asked for, and almost nobody was ready for. The internet ate him alive. The guy who could do no wrong in real time became a punchline.
Really bad hold music.
So he made a call that looks insane on paper. He said nothing. No statements, no explanations, no damage control. He just went quiet and let everyone else carry his face for him. And they did. Archive accounts, edit pages, fan channels with six-figure followings built on nothing but redistributing his image hour after hour with zero involvement from him or his team. He didn't pay a single one of them. He just stopped talking, and somehow that was enough to keep the whole thing running on its own. He was everywhere that year by being nowhere. Here's the part most people miss. Though that machine was never running on good music alone, it was running on tension nobody resolved. The mockery did work, the silence did work, even the leaks did work because algorithm has never once cared whether you love someone or hate them. It just counts how long you stayed. This is the part where it stops being fun to write about. Honestly, his ex publicly said that he wasn't there for the birth of their son. Then in 2023, he was arrested and charged with felony assault, accused of choking his pregnant girlfriend during an argument over a paternity test. His lawyer said he'd been falsely accused and that the case would be dismissed. Whatever did or didn't happen in the specific case, the public reaction wasn't ambiguous. Within hours, his ex was on Twitter writing things like, "Been there, done that, warned you." That's not an industry gossip. That's a real person saying something real about someone she used to love. Then the tour announced, pushed back a year, cancelled, fans who'd already paid for flight, hotels, time off work, left holding non-refundable everything, while he went quiet again. Except this silence didn't read as a mysterious one anymore. It read like absence. By any normal measuring stick, this is where a career quietly dies. The mystique doesn't cuddle so much as it just sours. People stop wanting to solve the puzzle. They start wanting an explanation he was never going to give him. And yet, he never actually stopped trending. Not for one single week. Every cancelled date became its own news cycle. Every blurry paparazzi photo, the thumbnail within an hour. People who hated him made videos about him. People who loved him defended and made videos about him. Even his silence had a comment section underneath it. You can try, but it looks like you can't kill a ghost. Turns out you can't even really embarrass one. He threw out the whole playbook. No rollout, no press run, no countdown clock. He just started dropping raw, barely edited music videos straight to Instagram, skipping every platform built to slow him down and make him predictable. Got on Fiend with Travis Scott and the song shook actual stadiums. Carnival went to number 1 and then March 14, 2025, Music. Officially 298,000 units in the first week, the biggest rap debut of the year. Carti himself got on Twitter a few days later and corrected the number up to 320, which honestly tells you everything about how much of a ghost he really is. The guy who refuses to explain himself still cared enough to fix his own sales count. But the number was never really the story. Voice was the story. Something guttural, something that sounded like it had been dragged from the underground rather than from a recording booth. No interview explaining the change, no apology for how jarring it was. He just showed up sounding like a different person and dared everyone to catch up again. This is the third time in a decade he has done this. Not by giving people what they said they wanted, but by handing them something they didn't knew they needed to hear and refusing every time to justify it. The voice change, the Instagram drops, the deliberately ugly that alienated half of his old fans on purpose. None of it was departure from the omnipresence strategy. It was the same machine. It has just changed the frequencies. Here's the thing nobody wants to admit when they tell the story. Carti didn't sit down in 2016 with a whiteboard and design an omnipresence machine. He stumbled upon one through 10 years of surviving leaks, mockery, real legal trouble, and a voice change that should have ended him. Not through some 5 years master plan. The chaos wasn't a side effect he had to manage. It was by accident. The entire mechanism. The machine runs on tension nobody resolves. The gap between what you expect from someone and what they actually go and do. The gap is the engine. It's what keeps the comment section alive at 2 a.m. You can't outpost your way into this. The feed is too crowded for sheer volume to matter anymore. What you can do, and this is the actual lesson here, is build the conditions where people feel like they have to react, where staying silent about you isn't really an option for them, even if silence is the only thing you are offering, because the most powerful marketing you'll ever do isn't the thing you post, it's the thing you make people feel compelled to say about you on a day you posted nothing at all. Carti learned this hard way, mistake by mistake, over a decade. He didn't choose. The rest of us get to build it on purpose. So it's the era we should build omnipresence for our personal brand, for a brand we work for a brand we own, and everything we want to digitalize content wise. Omnipresence is everything in this generation. I am your host, Deep Raj. Meet you in the next one.